I am now live. Hey guys! Welcome to my little happy hour with Cakebread sellers. I'm gonna wait a minute for some people to get on. Hi Meg Kelly, wave. I'm gonna wave. Hi Amy! So fun. Hi, waving. Happy Friday. It is officially happy hour in Michigan on the East Coast. And I am drinking this Cakebread Seller's Chardonnay. It is 2018 vintage. Who is drinking Chardonnay or a white wine right now? Anybody? Starting with the white, going to the red. Hey, Libby. I got John over here. He's gonna help pick the winners for our giveaway. All right, so I think we got enough people on to start. So I guess I'll just do like a quick intro of myself. My name is Jaclyn. I actually never, I didn't start my career in the wine industry. I was actually in advertising marketing for 5 years. And then I decided to follow my passion for wine, and I started pouring wine at Vino Volo in the Detroit airport. And then that led me to a more formal education in Napa Valley, where I studied at the Culinary Institute of America. And then now I'm on to my diploma with the Wine and Spirits Education Trust, and moved back to Detroit, started my own wine tasting event company called Tasting Grapes LLC, and then part-time I'm on the research team for Karen McNeil's The Wine Bible. So I've had a couple people ask me like what books to read. If you're starting and you want to learn about wine, this book, not just because I'm on her team, but it's a really great comprehensive book for all of the wine regions in the world. If you want to maybe pick it up and you're interested. So anyways, that's a little background about me and wine. I'm always studying because it basically never ends. There's always something new and fun to learn about wine, which is great. So gotta thank Cakebread Sellers for hosting this giveaway. Really fun giveaway. $250 of my favorite Anthro stuff, just for a little at-home wine night treat. It's the little things in life, you know. And thank you guys for hopping on, and for over 600 people that entered the contest. So that's pretty fun. So let's talk about Cakebread for just a quick second. Hi Brian, Blissful Media, hello. Okay, so a little bit of background about Cakebread. So they are a winery in Napa Valley. They were founded by the Cakebreads in 1973. So a lot of people are wondering how Cakebread got its name. It's literally their last name, which I think is so cool. What a freaking cool last name, right? In 1973 it started, and it is still run by their sons today. It was actually the first winery I visited when I moved to Napa about 2 years ago, and they're one of the only wineries in the valley that do a grape stomping experience. So if you have ever been into stomping grapes in a traditional style like they sometimes still do in parts of the world, like in Italy, they do that in Napa Valley at Cakebread. So really fun. You get a shirt, you stomp the grapes, and then you step on it and make little footprints, and then you get to have some of their fantastic wine. So we got some really great questions on the submission for the contest. Hi Mason. So I just wanted to start out with one that is relevant to Earth Day that just happened. And it is actually from Balia Con Vino, and her question was about sustainable practices in the vineyard and in winemaking, and how that is such a trend now, and what is Cakebread doing to be a part of that. And so they were actually the second winery in Napa Valley to have the Napa Green Sustainability Certification. And that is basically a really rigorous certification saying that you implement at least 100 sustainable practices in your winery and in your grape growing practices, so you conserve your resources. They recycle 90% of all their waste, so they're definitely doing their part. And in 2016 they put the Napa Green certification on their bottles, so you can see it right there, just to let everybody know that they are loving the environment too, and they care about their carbon footprint. So another really cool thing on Cakebread's Instagram, the other day their viticulturist was on, and he did a quick video explaining how they are implementing these carbon farm plans. They have 15 vineyard sites all across Napa Valley, and in 4 they just finished carbon farm plans. So trying to see John is like, I need more wine. So anyway, they're implementing carbon farm plans, and it's really cool. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So leave a heart, please, if you are drinking Chardonnay right now. Yellow heart. Yellow heart. Anybody? Or just the heart if you were having wine with me right now.
I am.
Yay. Okay, so the way this is going to go is we're going to talk a little bit about this Chardonnay that they make. This is their 2018 Chardonnay. We're not going to go super in depth on it, but I think it's cool to just touch on a few things. I mean, I'm obviously not the winemaker or the viticulturist, but I do know how it was made and how that influences how it tastes. So
everybody loves Cakebread Chardonnay.
Yeah.
This is the stuff.
Chardonnay is known as like the winemaker's grape because it's a neutral grape. So it really takes on the expression of its terroir, or where it comes from, how it's grown, and then how it's made in the vineyard. So what the winemaker does to it. So if you think about how wine is made, it's really two things. It's how it's grown and how it's made. And that is in turn how it tastes in your resulting glass. So let's start in where the grapes are sourced. They're sourced in Carneros appellation, which is the southernmost appellation in Napa Valley. It is also the coolest, which is really important for Chardonnay, and in retaining the acidity and the bright varietal character of this wine. So the cooling influence comes from the San Pablo Bay, and it breezes up the valley, and so Carneros gets that cooling influence first. And that's important because in the vineyard, the cool and nighttime temperatures are important to keep the acidity in the wine. And so that is really apparent in a lot of Chardonnays. A lot of marks of excellent Chardonnays all over the world are their acidity. So that is why Chardonnay is grown in Carneros, one of the reasons. I'm too young to drink. Oh no! Look at that swirl. I'm practicing. So harvest. Let's talk about how they harvest these grapes. I've got little notes here. So they harvest them at night, again, because the grapes are cool. The acidity is just chilling. They're not ripening in the hot daytime. So when they bring them into the winery, they're not going through any intercellular fermentation or anything like that. So then they press the grapes, and then there's so many decisions, obviously, that go into making a wine. So one of the decisions that they made with this wine was to ferment 87% of it in oak, and then the other 13% in stainless steel. And the reason for that is because when you ferment in oak, it adds some texture and some roundness to the wine. So very interesting. And then another thing that the winemaker controls is the malolactic fermentation. So I have gotten some questions about mallow and buttery rich Chardonnays, and some people really like those, and that is due to the malolactic fermentation. So it's a chemical reaction that happens in the wine where the malic acid turns into lactic acid, and the byproduct is a chemical compound called diacetyl, and that is the exact aromatic compound that is present in butter. So two matching aromatic compounds, buttery wine and literally in butter. So
that's awesome.
Pretty cool. And then one more thing is that after the fermentation is done, the spent yeast cells lay on the bottom of the fermentation vessel, and those dead yeast cells, or lees is what they're called, give off also some texture to the wine. So this wine was it sat on its yeast cells for 8 months, and that gives it its subtle nutty roundness and texture. So I think that this wine has a really beautiful body. It's like a medium-bodied wine. It's definitely not totally mallow. It's only 13%, so you still get a lot of that really beautiful varietal character and expression of the grape without being overpowered by any oak or any mallow influence. So really beautiful wine, very versatile too. The high acid lets this wine pair perfectly with so many different foods. I think it would be great with, what do you think, scallops? What's everyone having for dinner tonight? The Dental Psalm says Cakebread Chard is one of her absolute favorites.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then I got another question, so I have all the questions here too. Someone was asking that they really like that creamy buttery style. So Cakebread Chardonnay actually does a Cakebread Reserve that we bought a Magnum of actually because it was one of our first kind of looks into the shape.
If you guys haven't had, I'm sorry, just for a second, if you haven't had the Cakebread Reserve, it's absolutely amazing. I don't see it in stores too often, but if you see it, grab a bottle because it is absolutely awesome. Sorry, I'm gonna let her take over it.
So that Chardonnay is 100% barrel fermented, and it undergoes 50% malolactic fermentation. So there's more of that buttery, rich character, and it can stand up to a lot more hearty dishes, which is really amazing too. So 2 different expressions of their Chardonnays that show beautifully. It just kind of depends what you're looking for. So for the people out there that are really into like the more rich, round Chardonnays, their Cakebread Reserve Chardonnay is fantastic for that. So this wine for me kind of has it all. It's got the citrus, the apple, the peach, the pear, but it also has mineral and some honey and some beeswax. So that lees aging gives the nutty character. So you call it a complex wine if it's just different every time you smell it, which is really beautiful. Can we get more of the co-host? Hi from Sweden.
I'll make momentary interludes.
Oh, Eric, love when I can learn things like this from you. That's awesome. Thank you. So yeah, 2 different expressions of Cakebread Chardonnay that are really great. Hi, Shakira. So yeah, grilled scallops, spaghetti squash, chicken parm. I mean, fresh salad, crab, lobster. Freaking fantastic with Chardonnay. Amy, hi Sylvia and Terry. So fun. And also goes great with a wide variety of cheeses. I mean, who's a wine and cheese lover out there? Me. So the general rule, there's a bunch of things you can follow with cheese and wine pairings, but the harder the cheese, the more tannin you want in your wine. And then the creamier the cheese, the more acid you want. So a higher acid wine, you can do those triple creams or those bries. But that's just, I got that question too. So wanted to touch on that.
So Cakebread would be awesome with some creamier cheeses.
Yeah, so this would be awesome with creamier cheeses. So let's just, do we have any questions? No, my girl Shakira is awesome. She said I'm crushing it. Hey. So let's get to, yes, mozzarella, yum. Let's get to the first giveaway. Yeah?
Let's do it.
We had over 600 entrants. Thanks, guys. Very cool. My favorite Anther stuff, that French.
This is when I come in with the computer.
Yes. So.
This is a random number generator.
Random number generator.
We have them all put into an Excel doc.
This is what I did for my 12 days of Christmas giveaway. You guys remember that?
So you can see 0 right here, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna press generate. Number 439.
Number 439. So now he's got to check if that person is following Cakebread Sellers on Instagram, because that's the rule.
Should I announce who it is and then check?
Yeah. Oh, and you have to be here too. So.
Christina Gruber.
Christina Gruber, are you here?
Are you following Cakebread?
Christina D. Gruber. Are you here? Oh, goodbye, my friend.
Are you here? And are you following Cakebread? Let's check.
Chris Misch. They remember. Yay. That was fun. I gave away like all these things. Cakebread. Cakebread giveaway.
She is following Cakebread.
All right.
Are you here, Christina?
Is she here? She's good friends with her. Tell her to get on.
I'm going to give her a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll give you 5 minutes, Christina D. Gruber, to join the live.
So yeah, Cakebread Sellers, just pick some things that you love for an in-home wine night. So a blanket, awesome French K lavender candle from Voluspa, that is my favorite, and a cheese board, crucial, and some wine, I think. Okay. So Christina Gruber, what your action? Oh, okay, we're back. She's in the house. Hey, Simply Somalia. Simply Somalia left a really great comment. She was saying that, you know, Chardonnay can, like I was saying, can be really neutral, but she likes what Cakebread does. It's all about the winemaking technique or what happens in the vineyard. Dental Song, thanks for the great talk. I'm gonna go find some Cakebread Reserve. Yay. Hey, Shell. Oh, she just got off the Peloton. Opening some wine to taste with you now. Yay. Chardonnay. I want to know if you guys are drinking. What are you drinking? If you're drinking a white wine, leave a yellow heart. Anybody? Am I the only one drinking white wine?
I'll leave a yellow heart.
All right, well, we can move on.
While we're waiting for Christina to get...
So this is what we just tasted.
Check it out.
This is the Cakebread Sellers Chardonnay. Okay, we're going to move on to the Merlot. Hello. Did she get? She said she's trying to get on. You're a good friend. What do you think of the Chardonnay?
What do I think of it?
Yeah.
I've always loved Cakebread Chardonnay. This was actually when Jaclyn and I first started like drinking wine together. It was on like nights with my dad back in like 2012, and Cakebread Chardonnay was like one of his go-tos.
Yeah.
So I'd come home after coaching. I was coaching my high school football team. I'd come home at like 7:30, 8 o'clock after practice and film, and Jaclyn and my dad would be like 3/4 of the bottle through, like, "Hi, come on down, have some Cakebread."
Fun times.
I got a lot of good memories of Cakebread Chardonnay.
Yeah, right. And I think it's cool too because when I moved to Napa, it was the first winery that I went to. I didn't know anyone, and my roommate was like, "Oh, she's here."
Christine's here. Yeah, there you go.
Christina D. Gruber, you won. Yay! Congratulations.
So what did she win?
She won my favorite candle, a cheese board, a beautiful marble cheese board, a comfy blanket. It's a waffle texture, and some eye gel patches for the ultimate at-home wine night. Thing. Hi,
Nice.
Brooke.
Very cool. I
So,
wish
yay.
I had some nice under-eye patches.
Well, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the Merlot. Is anyone drinking Merlot? 2016 Merlot. I have not poured it yet, but I'm going to. Would you like some?
I would love some, please.
Jonathan is my senior assistant.
Thank you.
He's doing an excellent job.
I upgraded from junior assistant the past couple
Cakebread
weeks.
is the first wine I ever poured at the country club I worked at. Yay, I love that. Jade, hi from France. Okay.
Bonjour.
All right. Merlot was the first grape that I ever fell in love with. I had been drinking boxed wine in college, and then I was like, all right, like, what is this wine situation? Like, you need to know things about this? And I met him, and he was like, yeah, let's try this. And we were like trying to figure out together. We're Googling wine terms, like, what does this mean?
That's like true story.
Yeah,
we
totally
went
true.
out and bought like some whatever bottle. We had no idea. We went home and we started Googling wine terms.
Yeah.
We're like, what is tannin? Or
We were making flashcards.
yeah, it was cool.
It was fun though. It was fun. So that was like how we started wine. Literally, it was like Googling what this means. Ooh, clay. I'm pairing a Merlot with some homemade cornbread at the moment. Oh, that's good. What? We have cornbread
Send
in
recipes.
the pantry.
Please
like
send
the
recipes.
boxed cornbread. I kind of want it.
Yes.
Okay.
Cornbread
So,
recipes are welcome though.
all right. So we're drinking the Merlot, and so let's talk about blending for a second because I think that this is really cool that Cakebread does this. So they source the Merlot grapes from different vineyards all over Napa Valley. So some in Calistoga, and then some down in the southeastern vineyard of Napa with the cooling influence, and then up in Calistoga where it's warmer. So they get the ripe grapes from the north, and then the cooling acidic grapes from the south. And I think it's like 8 different vineyard plots of Merlot, but they source from all over, and then they ferment them in stainless steel only this time, so 100% stainless steel, and then they blend them together. So the winemakers are seriously working all year trying to figure out what blend is the best. It is such an art and science, but I think it's really cool that they take the vineyard, the best plots of Merlot that they have on all their estate, so they don't purchase any, and then they blend them together and they make this beauty. So there's so many like black cherry, blackberry. This has got really smooth tannins. I think that's one of the reasons I fell in love with Merlot in the beginning, is because it was smooth, and that was like my way of describing it at the time.
Yeah.
But like silky texture, and it just went down really easy, and it was really lush and beautiful. So love their Merlot, one of my faves. What do you think?
This is my first time having their Merlot. This is really nice. I like it a lot. It's got a really nice grip to it still. A lot of times I feel like Merlot kind of gets like a bad rep from like, oh, it's not Cabernet, so it's Merlot, right? But Merlot can be an awesome wine, and this is some really nice structure to it, really nice acid.
Shannon said she loves her Merlot. Yes, me too. Has anybody been to Cakebread Cellars in Napa Valley? Has anybody visited on here? Have you?
Me? Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went. I was there. Oh, that you don't remember going with me? You just remember going all the times you were out there?
Yeah.
Yes, I've been.
I went with you later
When
on.
we got the map
Yeah.
of the Chardonnay
Oh,
Reserve.
that's right.
Yeah.
Duh. Oh my god.
And the bear box.
Yeah.
The bear box.
So this is their Dancing Bear Ranch vineyard.
I forgot that was there.
And I want to say it's Howell Mountain. I think.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you know how we have our 2 yellow labs that we call bears. So when we saw Dancing Bear Ranch, we were like, we need that box.
We need that.
Yeah, Vino for Breakfast says that Cakebread's tasting was amazing. Yeah. Have you seen all their boxes in the lobby? That's where we found it. We walked in, we're like, oh my gosh, so many boxes. Scraping out wine wall. Yeah. He raised his hand so bad. Okay.
Keep the comments coming. It's nice to be able to interact with everybody and see what you guys are thinking.
Yay! So I would pair this with like pork or pheasant, even pizza. It would be so great with pizza too. They have a funny, massive vegetable plant. I don't know what that is. We would love to have you all.
I'd love to come back. Yes. Okay. Cool. Sold.
So yeah, my main thing with this one was I think that it's so cool that they blend from different vineyards and it creates like this multi-layered Merlot that's elegant and concentrated and has the acid to pull all those flavors through. Great with food. So pretty bomb. What other comments we got? Howell Mountain is my fave. I know they've got some good fruit. Those tannins in those grapes. Brian says, "Hey John."
Hey Brian, I'll see you on Call of Duty later.
So good at pizza, yes. For Atlanta, yay. Okay, so should we go into the Cabernet or should we announce the winner?
I just had like a little bit of this. I don't know. Let's see what other people say. What do you think?
Someone says, where does one find pheasant? You know, that's a really good question. So my dad has like never hunted in his life and he started hunting and he like brought home pheasant and I'm like, how do I cook this? Like, what is this? So it's been in our freezer for like a year. But I have found it at specialty grocery stores. And I think that it's pretty similar to like a turkey. Like you like stuff it, you put the herbs under the skins. And yeah, what's the best Cakebread wine to drink while playing Call of Duty? I would say any of the wines.
I'd say the Chardonnay. But yeah, any of them would be good.
Yeah, maybe the Chardonnay because it'll keep you like up and zippy and on your toes.
Yeah, you gotta be active. You gotta, be awake while you're playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's hard to cook, but nice.
I like Simply Somebody's comment though. She's asking you to talk New World versus Old World Merlot.
Ooh, yeah. So Merlot is, I believe it's the second most planted grape in Bordeaux. So when I think of Merlot, I always think of Bordeaux.
Yeah.
In a red blend. So I feel Old World, it's more used as a blending grape, and then in the New World, it's more on its own.
Yeah, I guess that Bordeaux is one of those regions I really got into for a little bit. But Bordeaux is really about making blends, right? So all of these come together to make the perfect thing, which is like what they did with their choosing special plots all over Napa. They found all these plots that had a special fit character about those wines, and they blended it to make a 100% Merlot. So, in general, I think that the rule with Old World versus New World is that Old World has lower alcohol, higher acidity, and New World has higher alcohol, lower acidity. But I think that in a lot of wineries like Cakebread that really take the time and do really good wine in Napa, they can retain those high acid wines with lower alcohol. So like I think this is, what alcohol is this? 14.9.
It's 14.9, but you can't like feel any alcohol burn or anything because of all those fruit flavors, and you can tell that the fruit is really well sourced and it's quality.
Yeah, there's a lot of balance to this wine, definitely.
Yeah.
You don't get heat on the nose. And for a 14.9% alcohol wine, for you to be able to smell and say like it's not heat or things like that, like that means you got a really nice balanced wine, in my opinion at least. I don't know. I'm just a hobbyist. I should probably get off the screen.
Hey Nicole. It's okay. It's okay. My dad goes every year to South Dakota. That's awesome. Feast is the best. I have baked and we also fry. Cabernet from Argentina. Okay, cool. The vintage is 2018. Or sorry, 2016. That was the Chardonnay. Merlot is the #1 grape in Bordeaux. Softens those tannins in that cab.
Oh yeah, sure. Actually, especially in the Médoc. It's Merlot dominant in the Médoc because there's more clay up there.
It's huge Bordeaux left for a while. Okay, so let's move on to the Cabernet. So now we're going to try the 2017 Cab Sauv. Easy. Okay, we need to pour this. Yeah?
Yes.
So is anybody drinking Cakebread right now? Please let me know if you're having any Cakebread, if you've had Cakebread or you love Cakebread. I think that this is a classic example of a Napa Valley Cabernet. the world's most widely planted grape, the king of Napa. Hello, Cabernet. And it's a really great price. I mean, this is $54, and I think
really
that it's for really a really
awesome.
great quality Cabernet in Napa. It's hard to come by that kind of price. So, quality price ratio is pretty good on this wine for sure. So why is it grown all over the world? Because it's reliable and it does really well in a lot of different climates. So that is the good thing about Cabernet is it's good.
It's resilient.
It's resilient and it grows
Thick
over.
skins isn't susceptible to rot and things like that.
My mouth is watering with that cab. Hey J Rose. That color, I know, right?
I'm really excited. I haven't had that cab in a long time.
Okay, so I wanted to have John on for this part because dentistry, right? He studies saliva and tannin and protein in the mouth. And I can try and explain it, but it's just like him do it because he's here. But so we're going to talk about why Cabernet is traditionally always paired with steak or fat.
Oh yeah. Why?
Go ahead, dentist.
I have no idea.
So, tannin in red wine binds with the protein in your saliva.
Yeah.
In your mouth.
So you have saliva or you have proteins in your mouth responsible specifically for lubrication. And so those proteins react with tannin.
So when you have a really tannic wine without food, you get that cotton mouth like dry feel.
Yeah.
So that's why you replace the
Yeah.
fat
You-
with a steak.
Yeah, protein. Yeah.
And that's why it's a perfect steak wine.
Yeah,
Right.
because you're softening that, you're giving those tannins something else to attack instead of the proteins from your saliva. They're attacking the proteins from this steak that you have, so it smoothens out the wine on your palate and ends up just making an overall better. I know, biochemistry, right? Biochemistry is awesome.
She's gonna be a winemaker, so she knows.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know, right?
Please teach me more. I want to know more about this.
Running the store after this video, probably will pick up a Merlot. Yes, girl. I think that sorry, we're on the cab, but I feel like Merlot is so underrated. I love Merlot, first wine I ever loved, and I still love it. It's underrated. That movie Sideways just ruined it, but Merlot, guys, it's on the comeback. So, hi, Sylvan. So this Cabernet is similar to the Merlot, where they source from their estate fruit from all over the valley, kind of making the perfect harmonious blend with the acid and the concentrated grapes. And the fruit, it is, let's see, it spends 18 months in French oak, 57% new French oak. So let's talk about oak for a minute. Why does it matter when the winemaker or someone in the tasting room is like, it's this percent new French oak? So that just basically means that it's going to impart more of the flavor on that juice when it's sitting in the barrel, as opposed to if it was a used or a neutral oak, because that would give more to like the texture and not as much as like, so when I smell this, I smell like sweet oak and vanilla, clove,
Caramel, things like that a little bit. Right?
caramel. So those are all aromatic compounds and descriptors and things that you get when you age wine in oak. So new oak versus neutral oak. So this is 57% new oak.
I'm curious what they do with toasting. I don't know if that was anything that was
No.
like they toast potatoes.
Yeah, so Demptos Cooperage is the big cooperage in Napa. I did like a field trip there when I was at school, but it was really cool to see all of the toasting levels that you can do on a barrel and the types where they source. Oak is fascinating. Like whatever forest that you source the oak from matters in what it gives the wine. So
What?
it's almost like grapes, but oak. Yeah.
Really?
Cool. Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Well, that's why you want oak from this forest compared to this forest.
So there's like American oaks,
Yeah.
but they're planted different forests throughout
Yeah.
the world, whatever.
Yeah.
And depending on what forest it comes, it'll
Yeah.
impart a different. Oh my God! Now I gotta start studying oak. Come on.
Oak is really cool. John, Simply Somali wants to know your favorite steak cut for this wine.
I am a ribeye guy, and I think that this would definitely go great with a ribeye because that ribeye's got good protein, but it also like a fantastic amount of fat to it.
Yeah.
So that's me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, another great thing, this will age 7 to 10 years just because the tannin, the complexity, the concentratedness of the fruit, the acid, there's all the different things of the structure of the wine that will make it kind of go the long haul and age for that specific amount of time. So,
and I love
it'll
aged
get
Napa.
better
This
too.
would be such a cool wine to age. Aged Napa is amazing, and this would be amazing. I'm gonna sit down and shut up now.
No, it's okay. So, what do you guys have any questions? We have Cakebread sellers on with us. If you have any questions about anything more specific about the vineyard, about what they're doing right now, we talked a little bit about their sustainable practices and the Napa Green label. So here we've got the Napa Green certified winery on this label too. So if you start to see this on the back, I mean you will. They've been around for a few years. The Napa Green is a third-party certification. They're really rigorous. Over 100 plus sustainable practices you have to follow in order to be a part of it. So
Your mom's here.
Oh, hi Mom! My mom's here! So yeah, you'll start to see those on labels if you look, and that just basically tells you that they care about the environment and their carbon footprint. And also, if you follow the Cakebread Instagram page, I'm fascinated by this carbon footprint plan project that they're doing in each of their vineyard sites. So they've got, I said, 15 vineyard plots throughout Napa Valley, and they've got 4 plans already working to figure out the carbon emission from each of those vineyards. So it's really cool. Climate and soil of that vineyard. Wait, AJ Rose, what do you mean? Just enjoyed Cakebread Sauv Blanc. I've heard such good things from you guys. You guys love Cakebread Sauv Blanc, which is really cool to hear. I was so excited to see how many people were like all about Cakebread.
Yeah, I've had it once, and it was the Sauv Blanc, and it was fantastic. It was bomb. Yeah, they do a really great job. Your mom says I have a stupid question. I guarantee you it's not a stupid question.
Never a stupid question.
You actually ask great questions, Susie. you always ask stumpers, so.
This is a good question. Is the age of the wine plants, the vine, important? And how will that work when they blend the different vineyards? So I'm not sure what the age of the vineyards are that they have, but I do know that the older the vineyard is, the more the vines struggle in the soil, so they produce less yield, so more concentrated small berries, which is what you want. So the older the vine, the more concentrated and complex fruit you'll often get. And it's kind of like a special thing when you have an older vine. But I don't know their ages of their vines because I'm not their viticulturist, unfortunately. But that's kind of how it works. But so they do all the blending, and I mean they know what blends well, what harmonizes well together. They do multiple tests in the, what do they call them? The beakers, the pipettes, and all that. So
I remember when I came in, I sat down in one of your classes when she was. I was so excited. I sat down in one of her classes when she was at the Culinary Institute in Napa, and they were talking about young vines and old vines, and your professor was talking about how young vines, they just want to like grow and just spit out all of their fruit, and they're just like they're throwing grapes all over the place, and they're just making seeds like crazy, right? But then as they get older, they calm down and they.
So that's the thing with a young vine. You're young and you're like, well, I want to like explore the world and have a million berries, but that's more like diluted, for lack of a better word, juice. So you want to control that. So that's why they do the pruning and the trellising, and they kind of taper it back. And usually, I believe. Hey, J. Rose, my winemaker friend on here, she'll be able to maybe answer, but it's typically 3 years from the time of planting a vine before you can harvest and have wine. So like 3 years that vine has to grow. So do the grapes on the vine have to worry about COVID-19 virus, or will the wine process kill the germs? No, I don't think that there's anything going on with plant.
Yeah, so really quick, this is a science answer. I'll keep it brief though. So viruses can only attack very specific cells. So certain cells have certain proteins on their cell membranes, and those proteins are specific to a virus to attach to them. So that's why COVID-19 is a respiratory virus, because our respiratory cells have specific markers that COVID-19 can react with. So anyways, but yeah, so no, wine is not going to be affected by this at all. You drink it and you're good.
Yeah.
Cakebread
It's all good.
is totally safe.
Yeah. So Hey Rose, she said, yeah, I love soil. He's soil in there too.
Yeah,
but the soil type of the Cakebread, so there's 15, so I think that there's a ton. But the cool thing about Napa Valley is that there's over 500, I believe, soil types. So like literally every soil type that is in the world can be found between the north and southern Napa Valley. So that's another thing that makes it crazy unique, because millions of years ago when the valley was created, all these tectonic plates shifted and volcanoes were erupting and the mountains were formed, and that's basically why we have every soil. I want to say I'm 90% sure that every soil type, 95% sure, every soil type found in the world can be found in Napa Valley.
Alex Maltman, I think he said that too.
So I know that their Carneros vineyard has loam and clay, but I didn't see about any of the other 14 vineyards. But that was a really cool question, totally, because yeah, I love soil. I think it's really cool. Thanks, John. Puppies are safe. Are you telling me grapes
can't breathe empty to decay?
Oh, share your grapevine update, the one you planted.
Oh, it's right there.
Guys, I'm so excited to remember that.
We can't turn this right now. It's hooked up.
We planted a grapevine last summer, and 2 of them, Chardonnays, and they're in this huge pot right there. And over the winter, we covered them with leaves to like insulate because the snow. And I know snow.
Tried to go biodynamic on it.
Snow's an insulator, but I just wanted to keep it packed up. So yeah, that's cool that they remember that. But anyway, so I hope. Does anyone have any other questions? So today we just tasted the Cakebread Chardonnay, the 2018, the Merlot, and the Cab Sauv, and we've got the whole lineup here. And if anyone wants to buy any, you can go. You can be found on wine.com or cakebreadsellers.com, and in a ton of stores locally. So
if you guys haven't had the pleasure of having the Cakebread Chardonnay, this is an iconic Chardonnay. Like seriously, this is like it started a huge trend in this style of Chardonnay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
For a great reason. A lot of people love it. I love it. Really refreshing. And yeah, it's awesome.
Cakebread fun fact. You're so good at your fun facts. Ah, thanks, Bridget. I love fun facts. I think stories are fun. It makes me remember stuff about the wine more. I think that there's so much family history too with this wine, and the stories and the people are great. So I think that that's another great thing about Cakebread. So I don't think. Oh, we've announced the winner.
Oh my gosh! Right? Yeah.
You guys are supposed to remind me. Okay. We're going to announce the next winner. So this is the last winner for the anthropology giveaway.
Okay. 1 through 633.
All right, we are picking the next winner with my assistant.
Number 83.
All right, we got number 83.
83.
On my Excel doc.
On there. Pull up this Excel
and we have to
doc.
check if you follow Cakebread. Ooh, any suggestions on where to find older Cakebread cabs? I tried a 2010 and 12 within the last year and trouble locating more. I would contact Cakebread sellers directly and see if they've got any library stored away. A lot of times directly at the vineyard, they've got library collections that you can buy from. He did that for my graduation with a winery, and they have a library collection. So I would probably contact Cakebread directly for that. Yeah. Thanks, girl. Hey, J. Rose.
I'm checking if this person follows.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
He's a good assistant.
J-E-A. I'm misspelling things. I'm sorry, people.
Jeanette092. Are you on here? Are you on here?
Ah, 0902.
Oh, she's right here. She just asked that question.
Yes.
Girl,
you won.
You won.
You won.
Yay! Congrats,
Nice.
girl.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And I just answered her question. Girl, you got to celebrate now and get one of those older vintages from the winery.
Totally.
Yay! Congrats. So Cakebread will contact you and send you your at-home wine night. That's so fun. So light candle, put some cheese on your cheese board, cuddle up in your blanket, sip some Cakebread wine. Have a good Friday. I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well,
Thanks for joining me.
hope everyone has a really great Friday. Hi from Croatia. Thanks, guys. All right, thanks for joining. And sip some Cakebread wine tonight. And Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.